Today we learned number stories, change to more and change to less, and we learned about these diagrams and how they can help us solve number stories by helping us gather what information from the number story we have and what we need to find out. So the directions say, for each number story, write a question mark in the change diagram for that number you want to find. In third grade now, we use a letter for algebra instead of a question mark. Then write the numbers you know in the diagram. Next, write a number model. Finally, solve the problem and write the answer. So for the first problem, as an example, it says Ahmed had $22 in his bank account. For his birthday, his grandmother deposited $25 for him. How much money is in his bank account now? So we start by reading the problem, which we did, and seeing what we could fill into the grid. Do we know how much Ahmed started with? Well, we do. He had $22 in his bank account. So in the start, I'm going to write $22. The next piece of information that the problem gives us is that his grandmother deposited $25 for him. How much money is in his bank account now? Well, if you don't know what the word deposited means, it means to put money in the bank. Also, usually grandmas for birthdays put money in the bank for you, they don't take it out. So you could kind of infer that this would be adding $25 to his bank account. So in the change, we're going to put a plus $25. The question says, how much money is in his bank account now? We want to know how much does Ahmed end up with. Instead of writing a question mark, I'm going to put a letter to represent the missing number. Next, we need to make a number model, which is the equation that will help us solve the problem. I see that Ahmed starts with $22, he adds $25, and then that will help us find out how much he ends with in the end. So my number model is going to look like $22 plus $25 equals M. Now I need to solve for M. So I'm going to stack up my numbers because that helps me to add better. 22 plus 25. 2 plus 5 equals 7. And 2 plus 2 equals 4. So my answer to the question is going to be $47. How do you know that your answer makes sense? Well, we talked about a couple different ways to solve this problem. You can do the problem backwards, where you do the opposite, start with the end, do the opposite of the change, and you should get the start. So, for example, we can start with $47, subtract 25 instead of add it, which is the opposite, and we should get 22. Well, we can stack those up again to test. 47 minus 25 should equal 22. 7 minus 5 equals 2. 4 minus 2 equals 2. We ended up getting the same number we started with. So we know our answer makes sense because when we reverse the equation, or when we did the opposite, equation, we got the starting number. Sometimes you need to work backwards to check your answer. Okay? Also, you can tell your answer makes sense just by saying if you know what 2 plus 5 is and 2 plus 2 is, you know your answer makes sense to be 47. Sometimes your change won't be plus. Sometimes it will be minus, like for example in this problem. Omar has $53 in his piggy bank. He used $16 to take his sister to the movies and buy treats. How much money is left in his piggy bank? Well, so he started with $53, so in our start we'll put 53. He used $16 to take his sister to the movies. Well, if you use money, that's the same as spending it, which will be minus. So the change will be minus $16. What we're trying to find out is how much money he had left in his piggy bank. So I'm going to use a letter to represent the missing number. Then I write my number model. Starting from left to right, I know my number model is going to be $53 minus $16 equals X. And X stands for the amount of money he has left. Now I stack up my problem and do 53 minus 16. Can't do 3 minus 6. You can't take a bigger number away from a smaller number, so I have to borrow from the neighbor. The 5 turns to a 4, and the 3 turns to a 13. 13 minus 6 equals 7, and 4 minus 1 equals 3. So my answer to this question is $37. Now to check if this makes sense, what I can do is do the opposite. I'll say the amount he had in the end plus the money he spent should add up to what he started with. So I'll do the opposite. I'll do $37 plus $16 should equal what Omar started with. So let's test it. 37 plus 16 should equal 53 because that's what he started with. 7 plus 6 equals 13. Put down the 3, carry the 1, and 3 plus 1 plus 1 equals 5. That's 53. Oops. And that is what the start number is. So here I'll write down my answer is 37 minus 16 should equal what Omar started with, which was $53. It was. So my answer makes sense. Your answer always also makes sense because if he had a certain amount of money and he spent some money, the end is going to be less than what he started with. 37 is less than what he started with. Now sometimes you'll have the start and the end and you need to find the change. In that case, you're going to put down what the starting number is, put down what the ending number is, write your number model out. This number plus or minus this equals this, and then solve for what that missing number is. Okay? Hopefully this video was helpful to you. If you need me to come back and show how to do the missing number in the change, I can do another video. Just write me a note on your homework. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.